Extinction is supposed to be forever. When a species vanishes from our planet, we're told it's gone for good. The last individual dies, and with it, millions of years of evolution disappear into history. But what if we were wrong? What if some of these supposedly extinct creatures are still out there, hiding in the shadows, waiting to be rediscovered? From the depths of Indonesian waters to the dense forests of Vietnam, from the swamps of Louisiana to the volcanic slopes of the Galapagos Islands, scientists and explorers have captured something extraordinary on camera, proof that extinction isn't always the end of the story. The Ghost of Tasmania. September 7th, 1936. The last known Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine, dies alone in a zoo in Hobart, Tasmania. With its death, one of Australia's most iconic predators, a marsupial with tiger-like stripes and a wolf-like head, officially becomes extinct. This is Benjamin, the last captive thylacine, filmed by naturalist David Flea in 1933. These precious minutes of silent black-and-white footage are all we have, or so we thought. For nearly 90 years, the thylacine has been declared extinct, but thousands refuse to believe it. Reports of sightings continue to pour in, from farmers, hikers, and amateur naturalists across Tasmania and mainland Australia. In 2019, wildlife biologist Forrest Galante filmed footage for his show that some claim showed the distinctive gait and markings of a thylacine. In 2024, new photographs emerged, sparking heated debate among experts. The animal in the photograph shows some consistent characteristics with the thylacine, but experts remain divided. Some point to the body shape and striping. Others dismiss it as artistic manipulation or misidentification. The search continues. With over 1,060 reported sightings documented since the species' official extinction, the question remains, is the Tasmanian tiger truly gone, or is it one of nature's greatest survivors, hiding in Tasmania's remote wilderness? The fish that time forgot. December the 22nd, 1938. Off the coast of South Africa, a fishing trawler pulls up its nets. Among the sharks and seaweed, there's something extraordinary, something that shouldn't exist. Museum curator Marjorie Courtenay Latimer spots it immediately. A 5-foot-long fish, pale mauve blue with iridescent scales, 4 limb-like fins and armor-like plates. It looks like nothing she's ever seen. She sends a sketch to ichthyologist J.L.B. Smith, who responds with a now-famous telegram. Most important preserved skeleton and gills fish described. Because what Courtenay Latimer has found is a coelacanth, a creature scientists believed went extinct with the dinosaurs 70 million years ago. The coelacanth isn't just any fish, it's a living fossil, virtually unchanged for 400 million years. These ancient fish were thought to be ancestors of land-dwelling animals, making their survival one of the most important discoveries in natural history. Today we know of 2 species of coelacanths, one off the east coast of Africa, another in Indonesian waters. In October 2024, divers captured the first-ever footage of a Maluku archipelago coelacanth at depths of 125 meters, confirming their wider distribution than previously believed. These remarkable fish live in deep volcanic caves at depths of 100 to 300 meters, moving slowly through the darkness with their paired fins in a sculling motion that resembles how our own ancestors might have walked on ancient seabeds. The living fossil with a famous name, November 2023. In the remote Cyclops Mountains of Indonesia, something incredible happens. After 60 years with no confirmed sightings, researchers finally capture footage of one of the world's rarest mammals. This is Attenborough's long-beaked echidna, named after legendary naturalist Sir David Attenborough. It's a species so rare that before this footage, the only proof of its existence was a single specimen collected decades ago. Dr. James Kempton from Oxford University led the expedition that changed everything. He said, "I was euphoric. The whole team was euphoric. I'm not joking when I say it came down to the very last SD card that we looked at from the very last camera that we collected on the very last day of our expedition." The echidna is one of only 5 egg-laying mammals on Earth, a living link to a time 200 million years ago when monotremes roamed alongside dinosaurs. This single piece of footage proved that this ancient species is still clinging to survival in Indonesia's mountainous rainforests. The mouse deer that walks on tiptoes. November 2019, Southern Vietnam. After 30 years of silence, motion-triggered cameras capture something remarkable. A creature the size of a rabbit, with a silver sheen on its back and 2 tiny fangs. This is the silverback chevrotain, also known as the Vietnamese mouse deer. Despite its names, it's neither a mouse nor a deer, but the world's smallest hoofed mammal, a species that was thought to have been hunted to extinction in the 1990s. Biologist An Nguyen said, "For so long, this species has seemingly only existed as part of our imagination. Discovering that it is indeed still out there is the first step in ensuring we don't lose it again." The search wasn't easy. Researchers interviewed local villagers and forest rangers who reported seeing a gray chevrotain different from the more common species. They set up camera traps in areas where locals had reported sightings. The results were stunning. Over 5 months, they captured 275 photographs. A second deployment of 29 cameras recorded an additional 1,881 images of the elusive chevrotain. Watch how it moves, walking delicately on the tips of its hooves, tiptoeing through the forest with extreme caution. The silver-backed chevrotain is distinguished by its unique double-tone coloration, reddish-brown on the front, transitioning to gray on the back with a distinctive silver line running down its spine. The tortoise that survived. A century February 2019, Fernandina Island, one of the most remote and volcanically active islands in the Galapagos archipelago. It's here that scientists make a discovery that defies belief. The Fernandina Island Galapagos tortoise was last seen alive in 1906. For 113 years, the species was presumed extinct, wiped out by volcanic eruptions and other natural disasters. But wildlife biologist Forrest Galante and his team, along with park rangers, find her, a single elderly female tortoise, estimated to be over 100 years old, still alive in a remote corner of the island. The discovery sends shockwaves through the scientific community. This tortoise has survived alone for over a century on one of the most inhospitable islands in the Pacific. She's now safely housed at the Fausto Lorena Tortoise Breeding Center on Isla Santa Cruz. Scientists have found trace evidence suggesting more individuals may exist in the wild, and expeditions are being planned to find a male that could potentially save the species. The Lord God bird, 1935, Louisiana. Ornithologist Arthur Allen films what would become some of the last confirmed footage of one of North America's most magnificent birds, the ivory-billed woodpecker nicknamed the Lord God bird, because of the exclamation people made when seeing one. With a 30-inch wingspan and a call like a bicycle horn, the ivory-billed woodpecker was America's largest woodpecker. But by 1944, the last universally accepted sighting occurred in Louisiana. The species was declared functionally extinct, or was it? For decades, reported sightings have continued. In 2004, ornithologist Bobby Harrison had a sighting in Arkansas that sparked a massive search effort by Cornell University. But despite hundreds of thousands of hours of searching, no definitive proof emerged. Then in 2020 and again in 2023, new footage emerged. Grainy drone videos and trail camera images purporting to show ivory-billed woodpeckers in Louisiana forests. The research, published in the journal Ecology and Evolution, includes footage of birds with distinctive black and white wing patterns that researchers say match the ivory-billed woodpecker. But the scientific community remains divided. Some experts see compelling evidence that the species survives. Dr. Jeffrey Hill from Auburn University believes the footage offers a compelling set of evidence. Others, like Dr. Michael Collins, argue the footage shows pileated woodpeckers caught in sunlight that creates the appearance of white markings. The debate continues as the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service weighs whether to officially declare the species extinct. The search goes on. Project Principalis has spent more than a decade documenting 70,000 hours of audio recordings, 500,000 camera hours, and over 3,000 drone flights. The question remains, Is the Lord God bird still out there, or are we seeing what we want to see? Other remarkable rediscoveries. The silverback chevrotain and ivory-billed woodpecker aren't alone. Around the world, supposedly extinct species continue to resurface, captured on camera against all odds. The Australian night parrot, a bird that shares similar traits with other parrots but cannot fly, was rediscovered after years with no confirmed sightings. For decades, it existed only in sketchy descriptions and speculation. The Fernandina tortoise's rediscovery sparked hope that other extinct Galapagos species might still survive in remote corners of the islands. In December 2019, Forrest Galante's team captured and released a living specimen of the Rio Apaporis caiman in Colombia, a species that had no confirmed sightings for years and was listed as extinct by several authorities. Wallace's giant bee, the world's largest bee at 4 times the size of a European honeybee, was rediscovered in Indonesia after disappearing for decades. First collected by Alfred Russel Wallace in the 1850s, it was thought extinct until its 2019 rediscovery. The coastal martin in Northern California, once hunted for its beautiful fur and thought extinct by the mid-20th century, was finally captured on remote cameras in 2023. Researchers now estimate about 1 martin per 3 square kilometers exists in the region. Why do these animals disappear? So why do these animals disappear from scientific record, only to be rediscovered decades or even centuries later? First, remote habitats. Many of these species live in areas that are difficult or dangerous for humans to access. Deep underwater caves, dense rainforests, volcanic islands, and impenetrable swamps. The coelacanth survives in deep volcanic caves where fossils rarely form. The silverback chevrotain lives in coastal forests ravaged by snares but still too remote for regular scientific surveys. Second, elusive behavior. Many of these creatures are naturally shy, nocturnal, or extremely wary of humans. The thylacine was semi-nocturnal. The ivory-billed woodpecker inhabited dense swamplands and was notoriously cautious. Third, small population sizes. When a species' numbers drop critically low, they become nearly impossible to find. The Fernandina tortoise survived for over a century, but as a population of perhaps just 1 individual, she was invisible to science. And finally, habitat loss and human pressure. As forests are cleared, wetlands drained, and wilderlands developed, these species are pushed into ever smaller refuges where they cling to survival unseen and unrecorded. The technology that changes everything. But technology is changing the game. Motion-triggered camera traps can operate for months in remote locations, capturing images 24 hours a day without disturbing wildlife. These cameras gave us the first proof of the silverback chevrotain in 30 years. They captured the coastal martin that had never been photographed in California. They documented the echidna on that final SD card. Drones can now survey vast areas of difficult terrain, flying over swamps and forests that would take researchers weeks to navigate on foot. They captured controversial footage of what may be ivory-billed woodpeckers in Louisiana. Submersibles and specialized diving equipment allow scientists to reach depths that were impossible just decades ago. This technology revealed the true habitat of the coelacanth and discovered new populations in Indonesia. And DNA analysis can confirm species identity from a single hair, a scale, or a fragment of tissue left behind, providing proof that camera traps alone cannot give. The debate, proof or wishful thinking. But with all this technology, controversy still rages. How do we determine what constitutes proof? The ivory-billed woodpecker debate perfectly the problem. Some scientists look at the same grainy footage and see compelling evidence. Others see only what they want to see, mistaken identity, sunlight glare, or wishful thinking. Skeptics say, if there's really a population out there, it's inconceivable that no one could get a good picture. We have thousands of birders with high-quality cameras scouring these areas. Believers counter, these are extremely shy birds in remote, difficult habitat. The fact that we don't have perfect footage doesn't mean they're not there. The same debate surrounds the thylacine. Despite thousands of reported sightings, skeptics point out that in the age of smartphones, not a single clear photograph has emerged. Yet believers counter that the Thylacines' extreme wariness of humans, learned through generations of persecution, makes it nearly impossible to photograph, even with modern technology. Where do we draw the line between healthy skepticism and giving up too soon? Between rigorous science and closing our minds to possibility? What these rediscoveries teach us. These rediscoveries teach us something profound. Extinction may not always be as final as we think. The coelacanth survived 70 million years after we thought it vanished. The silverback chevrotain endured 3 decades of silence. The Fernandina tortoise lived for over a century alone on her volcanic island. These stories give conservationists something precious: hope. If these species can survive against all odds, perhaps others can too. But these rediscoveries also remind us of our responsibility. Every one of these species teeters on the edge of true extinction. The silverback chevrotain faces intense hunting pressure from wire snares. The ivory-billed woodpecker, if it survives, has almost no habitat left. The Fernandina tortoise may be the last of her kind. Dr. Andrew Tilker, who helped rediscover the silverback chevrotain, reminds us, we shouldn't give up on species just because we haven't seen them in a long time, but rediscovery is only the beginning. Now we need to protect them. The species still lost. For every species rediscovered, countless others remain lost. The Baiji River dolphin of China, declared extinct in 2006, has not been seen despite extensive searches. The Caribbean monk seal, last seen in 1952, has left no trace despite decades of looking. The Pyrenean ibex was cloned in 2003, but the clone died within minutes. The only known species to go extinct twice, the Javan tiger, the golden toad, the western black rhinoceros, all declared extinct in recent decades, all subjects of unconfirmed sightings and hopeful speculation. But unlike the coelacanth and the chevrotain, no camera has yet captured proof of their survival. So we return to the question we started with: when is extinction truly final? Somewhere in Tasmania's remote wilderness, a motion-triggered camera waits in the darkness. Maybe tonight will be the night it captures something extraordinary. In a Louisiana swamp, a drone rises above the canopy, its camera searching for a flash of black and white that could rewrite ornithology. Off the coast of Indonesia, divers descend into the depths, hoping to find yet another population of the fish that time forgot. And in labs around the world, researchers review thousands of hours of camera trap footage, searching for that one unmistakable frame that proves a species still survives. These stories remind us that our planet still holds mysteries, that life is more resilient than we imagine, and that sometimes in the remotest corners of Earth, creatures we thought lost forever are still out there, waiting to be found. The cameras are rolling, the search continues. Sands somewhere in the wild places of our world, extinct animals still walk, swim, and fly, proof that extinction isn't always forever,